One Piece chapter 1147 is here. This was a great chapter. This was a chapter of slow buildup of anxiety and dread, ending on a great promise. But right here at the start, we begin with Saul flashing back to him telling Robin and Chopper, hey, stay hidden in my beard. I'm going to protect you because these are the Holy Knights. And they're no joke. And he also confirms that they're immortal, which we gleaned from last chapter when Gunko, regenerated after being blasted to bits, just like the Five Elders do. So the fact that Saul and Brook are both in the same chapter recognizing the Holy Knights, or at least recognizing individuals of the Holy Knights, I think is intentional. Usually if Oda has two characters doing the same thing in the same chapter, there's intentionality behind that. I'm not entirely sure what that would be at this point. Saul, having been an admiral, I don't know why he might know Holy Knights individually or know what they would look like or be able to identify them that way. He is quite old, so maybe it has to do with his longevity within the Navy. Maybe he saw the Holy Knights being instituted or changing hands, or I don't know. He must have some, there's a reason why he can identify them. And then Brook, too, is quite old, and so it could be that in his previous life, before he was a pirate, when he was something about a kingdom. I can't remember. A guard to a kingdom? I can't remember now. Leader of a battle convoy in a kingdom. Right. So again, that could also be how he knows about the Holy Knights, or how he knows about Gunko. We don't know how old she is, if she's immortal, or it could be that she was, during that 2-year time skip, she attended one of his concerts and he remembers her because she was a psychotic fan that tried to put him in a cage. There's no saying, but the fact that in the same chapter we have two very aged people who can identify members of the Holy Knights in the same chapter seems relevant to me, but we'll have to see. It's also possible that Saul recognizes Summers because maybe he was there at the incident of Ohara, because Summers' next line of dialogue is, I guess that means there were 2 survivors of Ohara. So it's possible that the reason he's saying that is because he sees Saul and he is aware that he was there because he was there too. Anyway, he says the Navy sure did a sloppy job, and boy, let me tell ya, not just the survivors. Wait till you hear about the books. I do really like here that when Summers then talks to Gunko and says, oh, are you going to capture some of these Straw Hats? And Killingham says, no, what? We don't want the to make Straw Hat Luffy furious. I love that even though they're immortal, and even though they're in the inner circle of the highest level of the military and have all these secrets that most people don't have, still they're like, oh, I'm not trying to make Luffy mad. Like, still, Luffy is notorious and infamous enough at this point that it's, no, let's not mess with his crew, except for Gunko. She's willing to risk it all. So poor Jinbei is being berated by Nami for not protecting them all. Jinbei is still in strategizing mode, still saying, stop shouting, I'm trying to come up with a plan. What are these powers? We have the different crew members responding to their current point of capture, and then Gunko puts her sword up to his eye. It's such a great panel. I love the emphasis of the speed in which she advances on him, and then she kicks him in the face and says, I want you to write songs for me for the rest of my life. You're going to be my slave. How very Celestial Dragon of you. Summers reiterates, no, stop it. I don't want to get Luffy. I don't want to get on Luffy's bad side. And I love Brook's response. I love the line of dialogue that Brook gives here. I'm sorry, young lady, but from the day that Captain Straw Hat Luffy bestowed me my second life, I have been dedicated to no one but him. Gunko says, what if I said I would kill you? He says, I would rather die than live without honor. Excellent Brook scene! Excellent Brook line! I love it so much! Brook has some of the best lines of dialogue of any character in our crew. I'm thinking about the Big Mom, young lady, what kind of fool plans to die, among many others. Just when pressure is put on him, he always delivers. Gunko doesn't think so. She didn't like his answer. Anyway, so Summers starts projecting this message all over Elbaf. He lets them know who the captors of the children are, what are their list of demands, how can you get these children back lest they be picked off one by one. A couple of lines, well, and while he's doing all of this, we have the nightmares still continuing to attack. So you have the looming threat of these children have been kidnapped, their lives are in danger. We have the looming threat of the different creatures that have manifested from nowhere seemingly, that are looming over every area that we can see. So they're fighting these off. They're trying to get to the children. You know, it's a really big threat. A couple of his lines that I really liked. I love, "I'm a dagger sent straight from sacred Mary Joa." I love that line. But then also, so rude. "We have reduced an orange-bearded man to a bloody mess for the crime of pursuing us from the school in an attempt to free the children." I love this line too, because one, that's so rude to refer to reduce Saul to an orange-bearded man, but then to go even further and just, you know, say we've reduced him to a bloody mess. But for the crime is for trying to defend these children, we've taken down one of your warriors. So it's making clear to them, if you do seek out these children, if you do try to fight, we've already taken down Saul. And then essentially mock them for having to be on the defensive. You know, these creatures are fighting, are attacking them. And so they're trying to defend the land and the people in their immediate proximity. They can't get to the children. And he's like, the one person that tried to defend them, we've reduced down to a bloody mess. While you just assume someone else would take care of the kids. Well, they're still marching. It's just like, it's so evil. So Killingham wakes them up from their dreams. They're now continuing to march, but they're awake, and Colin is among their ranks. And all these kids are confused, but he knows exactly what's happening. So he's like, we're kidnapped. It means that you can't see them. Stop crying, stop whining. I'm gonna protect you. Oh no, it's a nightmare. I'm scared too. I love that whole sequence of him being brave and telling them what's going on and telling them not to worry because he's there, and then nightmares show up and then he freaks out alongside of them. And then the next sequence too, where you have Dory and Bragi and their whole crew advancing, and they've been cutting through the nightmares up to this point. You know, I'm pretty sure it was the last chapter that they were taking these nightmares down, seemingly with ease. They were doing great, but then once the ones that look like their wives show up, then it's like, I'm so sorry, I went out drinking. I'm so sorry, I ate the cake that you made for our guests. Like, oh no. All of a sudden, now they're scared too. Now they can't move forward. Their ship gets taken down. Like, it's chaos. It's a great gag, but also just the artwork, actually seeing this ship with the moms climbing up it and attacking it from underneath and from above. It's just like, it looks so good. So they've done all this fighting. They've been these amazing warriors, and now they're like, we can't fight. Our morale is getting hammered. It's a funny gag. So as the Svar crashes and Ripley and Frankie are on their way to try to give them aid, the children are marching. We have this great map that shows us branch 8. We see the kingdom, we see the school and the library, where the kids are marching. We see where everybody is, which is super helpful. I love the bird's eye view like that. And Summers tells them, to make you giants our slaves in battle, the next step is to find how effective these kids will be as hostages. And then he goes off and he lists each one, which is pretty exciting because each one, if they're all getting their own introduction and then a single line to at least indicate their personalities, that means that we're likely going to get a little bit of time with them. On my live stream, one of my patrons pointed out that it's possible that since there's 10 of them and we have 10 crew members, it's possible that each of the kids is going to be paired up with a Straw Hat. If that happens, I think they're going to be paired up with that of their like kind. For instance, Bjorn, his response is, can't at least I be saved? Which I feel like is it's a little bit Usopp, like being terrified and wanting to get out and protect himself. It could also be Nami, and of course Karen has the Usopp nose, so she could be Usopp and her, you know, being really down and just being like, I have the worst luck. Johanna, I think, is the most obvious one, because she's Robin. At least you have parents. Seems very solemn. I think she's gonna be the Robin if we go this route. I think Mag is going to be the Jinbei, the one that's saying, I'm supposed to be strong, but I can't stop. This is Jinbei's problem right now. Like he's supposed to have been able to protect everyone. He's always the one that rescues people when they're in a pickle. And this time he got captured and he's like, I gotta find a way out. I gotta help everybody. I think Scaldi is probably the Zoro. Is there anything we can do for ourselves? Zoro's always ready to cut off a leg or like whatever he has to do in order to just take care of everything. Ranja or Ranha or however you would pronounce it is the Luffy. Don't worry, it'll all work out. I think that if we do pair the kids up with the Straw Hats, which very well may not happen, then they'll probably be paired with their like kind, so that each Straw Hat is then forced to instruct, counsel, mentor a younger version of themselves and work with their own strengths and deficits in a little miniature form. And I think it would be cute. Even if it only happened for a couple of chapters, I think it could be cute. Or actually, now that I think of it, Colin is probably the Luffy. I don't know why I didn't jump to that at first. That was dumb. Anyway, I do love that Scapper Gaban, when he finds out that Colin is now captured and is actively being kidnapped, that his response is, he tried to save the other kids. Attaboy. He's a little hero. Like, I love that he's proud of his boy. And he's about to go rushing into action anyway, so he's like, I'm not worried about it. I'll take care of things. Anyway, he says, and now our commands. Heed them closely, Elbaf. Your school is completely useless in war, and your library is packed full of pointless records of the past. You will burn them down right now and swear fealty to us. I love this line because his list of demands are, I'm going to enslave you and force you to fight on our side of this war. And what you're going to do to swear fealty to us is burn down the symbol of your new peaceful life. Burn down the thing that you built up when you surrendered your warrior ways. And burn down the thing that contains your history and your past and a reminder of where you came from. Burn down your past and your future and devote everything to us. Like, that is such an ominous, evil request. It's such a dictatorial power move, which of course the Celestial Dragons are going to do, but it's so symbolically rich that he would require a burning down of the future that you've built for yourself and the past that you've preserved against our will, and then swear yourselves to us so we can enslave you and use you in war. Oh, it's so evil. And then Anji, or however you would say her name, kind of hammers it all home by just saying, no, that's what we built up and that's our past. And, she kind of explains it. And then Robin and Scapper Gaban stand up to defend. Robin is defending the history. Scapper Gaban is defending the future. I mean, they're both going to defend both. But as the father of one of the children, he is this, in my mind, he's symbolically fighting for the future that's supposed to be burnt down, and Robin, who was a part of Ohara, watched the destruction of that and is wrapped up in the history of that. She's fighting for the history to be preserved. So the two symbols of these things are standing up, potentially going to fight side by side, which I can't wait to see. As long as it's not another like Rebecca fight where her job is just to, defend the children and Scapper does all the fighting. I'd really like for her to fight side by side with him. Anyway, it was a great chapter full of tension, full of exposing what the real plan is and what the stakes are and what they're requiring. I think there's so much here that they're requesting of Elbaf that builds on what we've seen so far of what the themes of Elbaf have been. We're getting to know the children, which makes me excited because I really do think that there's a reason for that. Oda wouldn't take up precious page time to do that if they were never going to be expanded on, so they're actually going to become part of our cast of characters that we know. At least some of them their personalities will be built up a little bit more, as well as we're likely going to learn more about the Holy Knights through Brook and Saul. We got a resolution to the gag that we've been waiting for, or at least for the thing that we've been waiting for Gunko to recognize Brook, to do something about the fact that she's a fangirl, the fact that she listens to his music. It's happened, and through that we got an amazing Brook line, and now we have the promise for an amazing fight to come. I'm very happy, except we have 2-week break. which is a bumski. Anyway, I would love to chat with you more. What did you think about the chapter? What was something that you really enjoyed of it? I'll see you again soon. Bye.